If you're a music producer trying to turn your passion into something sustainable, this video is for you. I started music almost 20 years ago when I got my first guitar at around 15. And for the past 7 years, I've been doing it as my full-time job. And I didn't get here through going viral. I managed to build a career by piecing together different income streams, from DJing in amazing places like South Africa and Mexico, to making sample packs, syncing music for TV, collaborating with brands, releasing my own music, and producing for artists that I love. In this video, I'll talk you through exactly how I've made money through music, and then hopefully it will give you some ideas about how you can do the same. And this isn't some slimy blueprint you need to follow step by step. It's just what's worked for me and some stuff I really wish I knew earlier. So I think the best way to start this video is to take you all the way back to the beginning. Like everybody starting anything, I had no idea what I was doing at the start. So I obviously had to spend years just learning. First it was guitar, then it was writing songs, and then finally production software. And I started with FL Studio and then moved over to Logic. And the reason I switched to Logic was because I started doing a music production degree. And then after uni, I started uploading music on SoundCloud and slowly started building a following. I was connecting with other producers, getting reposts, and also a little bit of local radio play. But at the time, none of that was making any money. So I started to look around and see what other producers were doing, and DJing seemed to be the thing that stood out. I could see lots of people playing shows and getting paid, and as I didn't know how to DJ at the time, it was something I had to teach myself from scratch. And here's the important part. I wasn't just putting music out and waiting to be discovered. I was engaging with other people. I'd comment on other producers' tracks, message other producers that I liked, and also connect with radio hosts and DJs. And that wasn't the big names, it was just other people that were also figuring stuff out. And one of the best examples of that was the DJ Jam Supernova. She just started on her first radio show on a small London station, and she asked me whether I wanted to do the first guest mix for her. And we stayed in touch over the years, and she's moved on to bigger and better radio stations, and she's now on BBC Radio 1 Extra and 6 Music. And she supported my music all the way through. She also booked me for one of her club nights and still shows love to this day. And that relationship came from a genuine connection, not just because I was trying to get something out of it. And I think that's a key point. If you're trying to get live shows or DJ gigs, try and make real connections. Don't just DM someone because you think it will help your career. Connect with people whose work you genuinely rate. And if I was starting now, I think I'd be doing the same thing as I did then on SoundCloud, but on places like Discord, Instagram DMs, or even somewhere like TikTok. So once I had a few small gigs in my hometown in Brighton, I got booked to play Glastonbury Festival. I had the chance to play in places like South Africa, Mexico, France, the US. So if you're making music and you want to turn that into some paid gigs, here's a few things that help me. Number one, upload your music, but don't post and ghost. Actually engage with other artists. Leave comments, reply to messages, start conversations. Number two, reach out to people who are putting on events, even if they're small. Offer to open, warm up. That's how most people start. Three, practice your DJ sets at home. They don't need to be perfect. Send that to radio shows, post it online, or use it to help you get bookings. So DJing gave me a little bit of income early on. It got my music in front of more people, helped me build a network, and also opened the door to a lot of stuff that I've done since. So moving on to number two, we're going to talk about releasing your own music and earning money through streaming. And the first thing I released on streaming platforms was back in 2015, and that was an EP called Over and Over. And I made that with my friend who's a singer called Mickey Rose. And before that, we'd only uploaded to SoundCloud, so there was no elaborate marketing campaign, and it was completely DIY. And surprisingly, that did really well with one track, reaching over 500,000 plays. And Jam Supernova, who I mentioned earlier, actually premiered the track on BBC Radio 1 Extra, and that gave it a huge boost. And then after that, I kept releasing music consistently, singles, EPs, and then finally a full album in 2019. And more recently, I started working with some indie labels. Back in 2023, I wanted to release my first beat tape. So I put out a tweet asking if anyone knew of any labels. Somebody from Chill Hop must have seen that. And in 2023, we released the beat tape. And that's now done like 4 or 5 million streams, mainly just from their playlists. Then this year, I also released an EP with a label called Stereo Fox. And they were a blog that had supported my music for the last 10 years. I'd done a mix for them, an interview with them, and I also went to a writing camp with them last year. And I think working with these labels again is just highlighting those connections that you make. And one big advantage of releasing with indie labels is their network. They've got connections with playlisters, radios and blogs that you probably haven't been able to reach. And that can help to put your music on their radar next time you release. One thing I would recommend though, if you are releasing completely independently, is to start a spreadsheet with all of your contacts. Just a list of all the people that have supported you, whether that's blogs, DJs, radio hosts, playlisters, and when you've got new music coming out, send them a message. I'm not talking spam, send a short personal note. Like I have a radio show and I know if someone sends me an email which is like a mass blanket email, I'm just gonna delete it, I'm not even gonna listen to the song. If someone I know that I've spoke to before sends me their new track, I'm probably gonna check it out. And it does take more time to send those personal messages, but it's definitely worth it in the long run. So some quick takeaways from releasing your own music. Number one, be consistent. Keep releasing, grow your catalog, and in time your income will also grow. Number two, don't overlook indie labels. They're going to bring new relationships and ears to your music. Number three, look for a distributor that suits you. They all have different benefits, so make sure you look at which one will suit your music. Number four, build a contact list of all of those people that you've connected with so you can send them your music when it comes out. And number five, streaming won't make you rich fast, but it stacks up over time. It's a slow burn, but over the years it becomes a steady income stream in the background. And next up, I want to talk sample packs. And this has probably been my biggest income stream in the last few years. And I already made a full video of how I first got into it. So if you want the full story and why I think everybody should try it out, go and check that video out. But if you're looking to get started, here's what I'd recommend. First of all, just go and look at some packs that you already own. See how they're structured, how they're labeled, and what's included. From there, think about your strengths. What separates you from other producers or musicians? If you're a guitarist, make a guitar pack. If you're a drummer, make a drum-focused one. If you play a weird instrument no one else does, focus on that. And once you've made your pack, you need to decide where you want to release it. And if you want to stay independent, you can use things like Gumroad, Shopify, or Bandcamp. If you'd rather go for a label, check out places like TrackClip, Splice, Waves, and most of them have submission forms so you can send your stuff in. Or if you go onto someone like Splice, they've got lists of labels that release on their platform. So you can find out their details and hit them up. Just like with anything, don't spam them. Only reach out to labels that really fit the style of samples that you're making. And like I said before, if you want more detail about the whole process, my other video on sample packs covers the whole thing. And also, whilst we're talking about sample packs, if you're looking for some soulful vintage sounding samples, I've just released a new pack called Slow Simmer Volume 1, and that's 10 full compositions and stems, perfect for chopping. And I've also just dropped a new bundle on the website, which is called the Full Platter. Basically, that includes all 3 Loop Kitchen sample packs for the price of one. So you're paying £25 for something that would normally cost £75. And if you want to check either of those out, the link is in the description. Right, next up, let's talk about producing for other artists and also making remixes. One of the main reasons I started putting my music out with singers and rappers is because I wanted to produce for other artists. So I'm always reaching out to rappers and singers that I love, whether to work on their music or to work on stuff for my project. And actually a lot of the times that will end up being a swap. So they jump on a track for me and then in turn I'd produce something for one of their projects. And over the years I've been really lucky to work with amazing artists like Pip Millet, Barney Artist, Xylo, Sidders, and in a lot of cases, a lot of these relationships started with me just reaching out and saying, I love your stuff, would love to work on something. And also when you're releasing music with other artists, you're also tapping into their audience as well. And people who've never heard your music before might follow you off the back of that. Likewise, other artists might hear it and want to work with you as well. And the same goes for remixes. I used to upload bootleg edits onto SoundCloud, and some of those led directly to official remixes for artists just off the back of that. And in both cases, remixes or originals, the deals can completely vary. Sometimes you'll get paid up front, sometimes you'll get a royalty split, and sometimes, like I said, it'll be a swap. And if this is something you're looking to do, again, it comes back to building connections. Just reach out to artists you genuinely rate and offer to collab. One other tip about remixes, each year I put together a small edits pack, which I put up on my Bandcamp. And it's just a few flips or remixes of tracks that I love. And in turn, I make some money from that. And also I get the occasional DJ gig or the opportunity to do an official remix. Right, moving on to number 5, let's talk sync licensing. And this is something that's grown for me in the last few years, getting songs placed on TV shows, films, or even YouTube videos. And the first proper sync that I had was for a track called Down For You, which was a collab with the singer Alexa Harley, released on a label called 45. And the label 45 had their own publishing team which pitched the track for sync. And it ended up getting placed in a couple of TV shows. One of them was the remake of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and another one was a show on Peacock. And the guy who handled the sync for 45 then left the company and asked me whether I wanted to be represented by him, so he's my publisher now. And although I'm not an expert on sync at all, there are a few ways I know that you can get into it. One thing I started doing was uploading my music on a website called Musicvine, and they're more focused on micro syncs. So that could be placements in YouTube videos, indie films, or online ads. All you do is upload your songs, instrumentals, and stems, and they handle the licensing side. And you get paid a certain amount depending on where the track is placed. And then there's other platforms like Epidemic Sound and Artlist. And I think they all have a submission form. So if you want to get involved in that, go to their website and you'll find that and be able to submit your music. So some quick tips for sync. Number one, if you're going to be releasing for a label, ask if they have a publishing arm. And if so, ask if they can pitch it for sync. Number two, look into platforms like Music Vine, Epidemic Sound, and Artlist. All of them should have ways for independent artists to apply. Number three, some companies want pre-cleared original music. So if you've got unreleased stuff sitting around, that could be absolutely perfect. Right, let's move on to number 6, which is brand collaboration deals. And this one's a little bit more recent for me over the last few years. And it actually started when I started posting regularly on TikTok, probably about 2-3 years ago. And the content I was posting there was mainly production stuff, similar to this YouTube, sample breakdowns, plugins I'm using. And from there, companies started reaching out. First of all, they were just offering me free plugins, which was probably my favorite part. But over time, that turned into actual paid opportunities. And since then, I've worked with brands like Slate Digital, Korg, Serato, and also with one of my favorite bands, Krungbin. And the crazy thing is, I've never actually pitched for a collaboration. All of that came from posting consistently and making content which was aligned with the things that I already loved. So here's a few key tips for going down this route. Number one, start by making videos about things that you actually enjoy. For me, it was plugins and sampling, things I talk about in my day-to-day life all the time anyway. For you, it might be synths, beat flips, gear demos, whatever fits into your world. And number two, play to your strengths. If you're an incredible keyboard player, post performance clips. If you sample, break down your sample flips. That's how the right brands will find you. Number three, think long-term and not viral. And focus on building a consistent style so brands know what they're getting when they reach out to you. Number four, keep your integrity. I've never made a video for something that I genuinely didn't think was good. And I think that's really important because people can tell when you're trying to sell something you don't really like. Number five, don't underestimate the value of free gear. Even if a brand can't pay you right now, I've got free hardware and free plugins that I use in my music all the time. So yeah, these are just some of the ways I've managed to make money through music. And it is possible to make a living just through putting out your own stuff, but it is very, very hard. What's worked for me is doing a mix of different things. Some days I'll be making a sample pack. Other days I'll be making videos. The next day I might be collaborating in the studio with an artist that I love. And for me, that variety keeps things fun and fresh all the time. And what's amazing to me is some of these income streams are completely passive. Things like royalties or sample pack sales bring in revenue when I'm not even working. And I think one of the biggest takeaways from putting this video together is your network really is your net worth, as cheesy as that sounds. So many of the connections I made when I first started making music are still part of my journey now. Nikki Rose, who I made that first EP with, is one of my best friends and collaborators still to this day. Jam Supernova, who supported my first mix, has opened up so many doors for me. And if there's just one piece of advice I could give, it's this: collaborate, make friends, and help each other out. Not in a fake networking way, but by building real relationships with people who love what you do, because those are going to be the people that are still around in 5 or 10 years' time. And that's exactly why I recently started a Discord. I wanted to build a space where people could meet others on the same journey, share music, find collaborators, ask questions, or just connect with other like-minded people. And if you'd like to join that, there's a link in the description. I'd love to see some of you guys in there. And if you found this video useful, don't forget to like, subscribe, drop a comment, or just share it with someone else you think might find it useful. And I will catch you on the next one.